Hi guys, I just wanted to talk about something which I think is really important and something that, from my own personal experience as well, is something that I've dealt with a lot better as I've gotten older. And I think it's when it comes to constantly comparing yourself to other people, and I think it's important actually to compare yourself to other people, especially if you see someone as quite an inspiring person who's achieved something that you'd like to achieve. It's quite important actually to try and compare yourself in respect to where you are in relation to those people. But I think doing it on a constant basis from a point of, maybe envy, I think that's really something to, in my experience as well, it's something to look at and look to avoid really. I think going back to my teenage years as well, I think this is something I think a lot of people are guilty of as well, especially as you're younger. It's comparing yourself to other people in your peer group. And it's, if you're not, whatever, if you're not as good looking, if you're not as, athletically gifted, academically gifted, there's lots of different things. I think everyone's got strengths and weaknesses. So I don't think it's really worth you comparing yourself to other people, because you're always going to have strengths and weaknesses. Everyone's got different strengths and weaknesses. So in terms of looking at someone else and thinking maybe, this person, that person, they're more genetically gifted than I am. They're smarter than I am. Things like this, or, better looking than I am. It's pointless really, because you can't really do anything to change these things. I think it is worth looking at the elements that you are capable of changing though. Some of the things that you can work on. People that have achieved things that you want to achieve. How have they done it? For people that have put a lot of hours in to achieve the things that they have. It's worth looking at these kind of people, these role models. And I think that's something that you can look at and use positively. But I think when you're using it in a negative way to try and compare yourself, I think these thoughts can creep in no matter who you are. It's quite tempting really, isn't it? Look at whatever someone else has achieved, what they can afford to buy, how much weight someone else can lift in comparison to you. There's always someone stronger than you. And there's always that sense of envy, but, maybe that person's more genetically gifted than you are. Maybe there's nothing you can do about it. But, maybe you can do something about it. Maybe you can actually look to put in the hours, do a bit more research, put the hours of work in at the gym. It might even be professionally as well. Someone's in a position that you want to be at. What can you actually do to achieve it? So I think there's pros and cons to doing it. But I think it's maybe looking at the positive elements, what you can actually control. Some things you can't control, there's no point in worrying about those things. I think generally everyone's got strengths and weaknesses. I think if you focus on your strengths, really focus on those areas where you can, bring the best out in yourself. Try and work on those weak areas, bring those up to par, but don't try and compare yourself to other people, that are naturally gifted in these areas.